And moving on, the governments of Ireland, Norway, and Spain have all officially recognized the Palestinian state on Tuesday, yet not all their constituents support such a decision. Christian leaders in Ireland and Norway have openly rejected their government's decisions, calling it a reward for terrorism. Joining us now with more on this is Paul Coulter, National Director of the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem in Ireland. Paul, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Lidar. I think good is the wrong term to be using. It's a day of maybe fame for the Irish leaders and politicians, but it's a day of shame, deep shame for the Irish people, and it's felt by many of us. And I went in yesterday, Lidar, and I went to our Parliament buildings to see, was it true? And there was flying a reward for terrorism, a flag, a shameful flag of Palestine at our government buildings, unconditionally awarded for terrorist acts. I'm almost speechless. And I will apologise. Certainly there's a strong minority in Ireland who do not agree with the actions of our government, including, in fact, members of the government's own parliamentary party have spoken out to say this. This is a unilateral action by our government, but they certainly don't speak on behalf of the Irish people.
And, you know, I'm curious to ask you about the overall sentiment in Ireland. You mentioned a small minority that oppose this. I mean, what is the overall sentiment in Ireland of this move?
Lidar, we have a big problem in Ireland, and it's actually a simple one. It's our media. The Irish media is exclusively 99% is left of centre, and they pump an anti-Israel narrative. And in fact, I was outside a few weeks after the massacre there in October. I was outside the Israeli embassy in Dublin, and I was speaking to a man who turned out to be a journalist from one of our leading newspapers, and he had just come out. He had tears in his eyes, and he had seen the videos of some of the atrocities that took place. And he said to me, and I quote him, he said, "I can't publish a word of it." And I asked him why not, and he said, my management and editors hate the Israelis. And I think that's a sentiment that goes right across our media. And so there's a one-sided narrative that goes out all the time to the people of Ireland. I'm surprised everyone in Ireland doesn't hate the Israelis from the narrative that goes out, because it's a shocking one. And visitors to Ireland who have abroad media in other countries, they are shocked and have told me so by what they see in the Irish media. So our politicians are actually responding to what they think is the popular narrative and what they think gets them votes. I think that's the same with politicians everywhere. But the politicians in Ireland do not represent, on many issues, the voice of the people of Ireland. And I think the recent Eurovision vote was one of these. To the shock and horror of the Irish establishment, the vote for second place of the Irish people went to whom? It went to Israel.
Absolutely.
We rejected the witch we'd put forward, and we loved Israel. So thank you for her. She's a wonderful woman and a credit to your country.
Absolutely, Eden Golan. And, you know, Israel has reacted very harshly to this decision, and ties between the two countries really are strained. You know, looking to the future, taking into consideration what you've said, you know, also about the media and sort of the narrative, the one-sided narrative that's being pumped to the Irish people, are you hopeful for the future of, you know, Israel-Irish ties?
I really don't know. I'm not a politician. My mandate is to speak to the Irish people. And I was so encouraged there last Sunday. Around 1,000 people turned out on the street, despite the presence of the pro-Hamas masked men that reminded me of our own terrorism in the north of Ireland. The IRA types, the lovers of terrorism, are back on the street, and they have a new cause. Not Irish nationalism, but Palestinian nationalism. And in both cases, they've their hands stained with blood, as their flags actually show. You're looking at them here.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we've also seen growing anti-Semitism in the country, as is the case throughout Europe. Is the Irish government acknowledging this, doing anything to address it? And can the Israeli Jewish community and perhaps the Christian community work together to fight anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism in Ireland?
Yes, I understand in Ireland the government have actually one good point of news. They've appointed a SAR for anti-Semitism in Ireland, so at least there's a recognition of this. To be quite fair, I don't think it's widespread, but the Jewish population, it only takes one person in 100 or one person in 1,000. And people feel unsafe. And the Jewish community are telling us that even during the Second World War, Jews in Ireland felt safe. They're no longer able to say that. They do not feel safe in Ireland anymore. And if you were Jewish, you would not go out wearing a kippah. And I wouldn't put a Magen David on my car either, because I guarantee it'll be vandalized. So yes, we do have issues here, but it's stoked by the media.
All right, well, Paul Coulter, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.